Welcome to the GCSE Maths Advantage. I'm Dr. James Carter, and every episode I'm going to break down one topic, show you where the marks are, and give you a quick win you can use in your next exam. Whether you're targeting a grade 7 or pushing for a 9, let's get into it.
This one question cost thousands of students marks last year, a percentage question that looks harmless until you panic and start adding and subtracting instead of thinking multiplicatively. Stick with me and I'll give you one rule that removes the panic and turns those problems into bankable marks.
Right. The core idea today is simple. Every percentage increase or decrease can be written as a multiplier, and reversing a percentage is just dividing by that multiplier. Once you can turn percentages into multipliers, chain them for successive changes, and you can handle VAT, sales, and compound interest with one reliable approach. No frantic step-by-step adding, just the same method every time. Let's make that concrete. Example 1. A jacket costs £230 after a 15% increase. The question, what was the original price? Don't start subtracting 15% from 230. Think multiplier. A 15% increase means the final price is 115% of the original. 115% as a multiplier is 1.15. So final equals original multiplied by 1.15. We have 230 equals original multiplied by 1.15. To find the original, divide. Original equals 230 divided by 1.15. Do the division and you get £200. Simple, neat, repeatable.
Why does this work? Because percentages are multiplicative. If something increases by 15%, the new amount is the original amount plus 15% of the original. That is, original multiplied by 1 plus 0.15 equals original multiplied by 1.15. Thinking in multipliers keeps the original as the base and prevents the common mistake of treating each step as separate arithmetic.
Now, a quick contrast. A 15% decrease uses multiplier 0.85 because you keep 85% of the original. So if a phone is £340 after a 15% discount, original is 340 divided by 0.85. Using division for reverse is the key phrase. Convert to multiplier, then divide when you need the original. Successive change is just multiplication of multipliers. Suppose an item is reduced by 20% in January and then a further 10% in February. The first multiplier is 0.80, the second is 0.90. Combined multiplier is 0.80 times 0.90 equals 0.72, so the final price is 72% of the original. That beats doing two separate percentage subtractions from shifting bases, which is where errors hide.
Let's move to marks and exam technique. When an examiner sets a percentages question, they'll usually give M marks for method and an A mark for the final answer. For example, in our original price question, M1 for writing 230 equals original times 1.15. M1 for dividing by 1.15, and A1 for the correct final value. If you write the equation and start the division but don't finish, you still bank M marks. Write your method. The examiner wants to see it. Write it down. Don't just think it.
Common small mistakes that lose marks. Using subtraction instead of division to reverse a percentage. Picking the wrong base, mixing up which amount is the final and which is the original, and rounding too early. If you round the multiplier before dividing, you can lose a mark or land outside the tolerance for an A1 answer. So keep exact multipliers through the algebra and only round the final answer to the required accuracy. Here's a practical marking breakdown you can write on your paper. 1. Define your multiplier clearly. Show 115% equals 1.15 or 85% equals 0.85. 2. Set up the equation. Final equals original times multiplier, or final divided by multiplier equals original. 3. Show the division or multiplication step. 4. State the answer with correct units and appropriate rounding. Examiners love to see those steps. It makes awarding method marks straightforward. Here's where the marks are. Use that phrase as a checklist in the exam.
Time for your quick win, a short, repeatable checklist you can use in every percentages question. Convert to multipliers, decide whether you need to divide, reverse, or multiply, forward, chain multipliers for successive changes, then substitute your answer back into the original statement as a 10-second check. Quick win, always substitute back. It catches a huge number of slips in under 10 seconds.
Memory cue to remember the order. Convert, decide, chain, check. CDCC. Convert to multipliers, decide if you divide, chain multipliers if needed, check by substitution. Say it once before the exam and use it on every question. That alone will save you time and marks.
Worked example, 2-mark question. A console is reduced by 25% to £150. What was the original price? Marking. M1 for multiplier 0.75 and equation 150 equals original times 0.75. M1/A1 split depends on structure, but practically you write original equals 150 divided by 0.75, which gives £200. Even if you can't finish the division, the equation banks method marks. If you ran out of time, leave 150 divided by 0.75 clearly shown. Examiners will award method marks. Worked example, 3-mark composite. An item is discounted by 10% and then VAT of 20% is added to the reduced price. Start. Discount multiplier 0.90. VAT multiplier 1.20. Chain. Combined multiplier equals 0.90 multiplied by 1.20 equals 1.08. If original price is P, final equals P multiplied by 1.08. If the final is £324, write 324 equals P multiplied by 1.08 and divide to get P equals 324 divided by 1.08 equals £300. Mark breakdown, M1 for each multiplier setup, M1 for setting up equation, A1 for the answer. If you're short on time, at minimum write the chain, 324 divided by 1.08. Examiners can give method marks for that clear step. Common variants and traps to watch for. That is always an increase. Use a multiplier greater than 1. Non-integer percentages, like 12.5%, translate to 1.125 or 0.875, depending on increase-decrease. Keep them exact until final rounding. Compound interest over multiple years uses the same idea, multiplier per year to the power of years. Negative percentage wording, decrease of 15% versus now 85% of. Read the question twice, solve it once. Final tip on rounding, follow the question. If it asks for an answer to the nearest penny, give it to the nearest penny, but keep intermediate work exact. If you're handing in a paper, show the unrounded method and then the rounded final line. You keep method marks and meet the accuracy demand.
That's your quick win for today. If this helped, share it with a friend who's revising. You'll find more worked solutions and revision resources at jcacademyonline.co.uk. Until next time, trust the process and nail that exam. Stay curious.